Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Jessie, and this week we're doing my January 2021 bullet journal plan with me. First, I'm uploading this video on a Friday because it's January 1st, and I'm playing around with my upload schedule just to kind of see what I like. I'm thinking about doing bullet journal videos on the 1st of every month, and then keeping everything else on Tuesday, Thursdays. Just see how that goes. I'm gonna play that and see how it goes. After a couple weeks, I may decide not to do it, but we'll figure it out. And then also, I'm doing my January 2021 bullet journal setup in my current bullet journal that I started in June of 2020. There were so many pages left in this bullet journal that I think I can get 2 to 4 months in it, depending on how many extra pages I use. So we'll see. But it just felt like it was too early to move to another bullet journal, and I had too many pages left, and I was afraid it would be too wasteful. So I went ahead and made a dividing spread with one page that is like a 2021 cover page, and then I made like a page for like important dates that will happen in 2021, like any doctor's appointments and stuff like that. And then after that, everything else is goals related. I have like one page that's like a master list of my goals for 2021. And then after that, most of the spreads that are between the goals page and the chapter 1 page you see me working on are all like detailed pages about each of the goals I'm tracking that I want to complete in 2021, and most of them are really personal, and so I didn't want to film it and share it just because I don't know, just like I keep some things private, and I didn't want to share it, so we don't have that to show you. But I did go ahead and film my January spread, like I've been filming I think every spread since either February or March. I've almost made it through a year of uploading bullet journal spreads regularly, and I think in April is whenever we'll get to whenever I've been uploading bookish content regularly. For this spread, I've seen a similar spread to my January cover page on Pinterest a lot, and I haven't looked at it in a while, but like I was inspired by it. It's like if you search bullet journal cover pages, it's one of the first ones that'll pop up, and it's just a bunch of circles, and then like I think it's like, to me it always looks like barbed wire. I'm not quite sure if that's what it is, but that was what this page was inspired by. And I went with a purple color scheme just because I think I did blue last year, and I didn't want to do pink because I'm probably going to do pink for that for February. And I didn't want to do gray because like my dividing spray is mostly gray with a little bit of gold. So I did purple with a little bit of gold for my February spread. And then I'm also trying out using tabs in my bullet journal where like I cut off the side. And for January, I left 5 squares at the top, plus that top portion. And then in February, I'll probably leave, like 5 squares below that instead. And just kind of play along and see how I like that, like for the rest of this bullet journal until I get it filled up. And so like right now you just see me cutting all the ones for like the for sure monthly pages. I probably won't cut any of the others until I actually use them whenever I do weekly spreads. And that's another thing is I've actually started using weekly spreads again the past few weeks instead of doing just dailies, like rolling dailies. I've been back into weekly spreads just to kind of plan a little bit more in depth, and that's been nice. I may eventually go back to dailies. It's just gonna be a back and forth thing. But anyways, I did introduce the fact that a lot of my like middle spread that divides 2020 from 2021 is goals related, and I want to talk to you guys about my 2021 reading goals. In 2019, my goal was to read 18 books, and I read 24. So I set my 2020 reading goal at 36 books, and today is Monday, December, I think, 28th. And at this point in time, I've currently read 88 books, and I'm halfway through These Violent Delights and Her Body and Other Stories, and I intend to finish both of them by Thursday. That way I can have completed 90 books in 2020. So I kind of set my reading goal a little bit higher in 2021. In 2019, I think I could have had a higher reading goal, but I didn't actually really start reading until June or July. And I read, 24 books in about 6 months. And then this year, I guess I just started listening to a lot more audiobooks and I got a lot more into reading. And so I read a lot more than I thought I would. And so I'm trying to make sure that for 2021, I set like a more ambitious goal that's also still realistic. And so I set the goal of 60 books because I don't know if I'm going to hit 90 again. That just, I don't, it still seems crazy that I'm so close to hitting 90. And at this point, I'm just going to say I've read 90 books because I'm going to finish those books. Um, but anyways, it feels weird to say that I've read that many books, especially because it sounds like I just spent, like I have so much free time to read because it's a lot of books. But I did listen to a lot of audiobooks this year. And then anytime Rowan was up, like in the middle of the night, like if he woke up in the middle of the night and I went to his room to rock him, I normally just read like an ebook on my phone while I rocked him. Because normally his eyes would be closed the whole time. He just wanted to be held for a little bit. And so I've read a lot more books in general this year. So my goal in 2021 is to read at least 60 books or more. And then if I surpass 60 and like in the 90s range again, then in 2022 I'll need to set my goals even higher. The next main goal I have is to continue to diversify my reads. I haven't like set any percentages of each book I want to read, so it's not like a solid goal. I just know I want to read more diversely. Um, in 2020, I feel like I've done okay at reading diversely. Like it could definitely still be worked on. There's still like I still need to work on it, but I've definitely done pretty good this year, especially like after the summer and everything happened with George Floyd's murder, and then I think all year we've heard news about Breonna Taylor's case, and so I've definitely kept up with that, and I've done okay at reading books from authors of color. I think I've done okay at reading most authors of several different races. However, I have been slacking at reading Indigenous authors. I need to work on that. And I need really to find books by Indigenous authors. I think I've read 3 or 4 books this year, which is incredibly low, especially given how many books I've read. So I definitely need to, in 2021, make a better effort to read Indigenous authors. And whenever I say that I've done a good job at reading, like doing a better job at reading POC authors in general, that's singing off the top of my head before like doing any stats and like checking it out because I do intend on at some point within the next few days actually looking like I guess putting down all the information of the books I've read and like looking at all the statistics and like how it's going to see if that's accurate. But off the top of my head, I think I've done an okay job, but it could always be better. Um, and then like the last reading goal I have that isn't as important as reading diversely, but it's still one that I have is to finish series that I've currently read, that I'm currently reading, and then finish or catch up because some of them aren't finished yet. And then also I want to read like complete series that I own, which I don't actually own that many series. I own like 5 of the Grishaverse books, the Shadow and Bone trilogy, and the Six of Crows duology. And so I need to read Crooked Kingdom. I'll have all of those finished that I own. I want to read the Cruel Prince trilogy. I think it's the Folk of the Air trilogy because I own all 3 books. And so I can finish those pretty quickly. And then I started reading the Percy Jackson series over the summer. I had read the first 2 books whenever I was in 8th or 9th grade. And so I want to finish the next 3 sometime in 2021. And I only own the first book, but the all 5 books, I think it's 5 books, are all on my library's Libby app. So I can definitely achieve that goal. And then I also want to continue series I'm currently reading, like All the Tides and Fates that comes out, or All the Tides and Fates. And I also want to continue reading the Romance Book Club series and the and also the A Song Below Water series. But anyways, I don't really have much else to say. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.